And we're back, and we're about to start Leo's route. So here we go. I watched Jenna's tail disappear through the sagebrush. They're headed down the same trail that I had used to get to Lake Emma. TJ! TJ did seem to head off in that direction while we were fighting, though I can't imagine he'd go to the lake. I should go with them to help find the lynx. I'm also a little worried about Leo. It's been a long time since I've seen him that pissed. When I get there, I find Leo leaning back with his rear up against a big boulder on the shore. Bittersweet memories flood in. That rock is almost as much a staple of my childhood as the actual lake is. It's weird like that. Every memory I have of this place is dreamy and gold tinted, but always has a hint of sadness about it, no matter what the situation is. Jenna's standing in front of Leo, her arms folded as she talks to him. I can't see his face, but his posture is sagging and his ears are down, looking way older than he actually is. I stand there for a while, feeling awkward about intervening at this point. Leo occasionally shakes his head, then takes out his phone to look at it. I can see Jenna getting annoyed, but then she says something and Leo turns his head to look back at me. I seize up for a second, but Jenna is beckoning me with her paws while Leo isn't looking. I start stumbling over the rocks towards them as Leo looks back down at his phone and Jenna starts walking towards me. Just talk to him. He'll listen to you. And we're going to go with Leo. She passes by me, going back towards the trail. Sure, he'll probably listen to me, but I have no idea what to say. The rocks are actually hard to navigate, especially when you don't have any protection for your feet. I'm almost to the boulder when my foot catches on the edge of the rock and I yelp and fall face forward, knees first, into the sharp rocks. Ah! Pain shoots up my legs and my eyes clench shut as I cringe silently. Shit, are you alright? I look up and see Leo looking down at me, his ears up now at the sound of my fall. Yeah, I'm fine. Leo frowns and reaches over with the paw which I grab onto and pull myself up with. I make my way around him, being a little more careful about where I put my feet as I position myself next to him against the boulder. I put both of my paws behind myself and heave myself up on top of the boulder, setting my legs to dangle over the side. Ugh, I'm so damn clumsy. You're an otter. Wow, asshole. I say it jokingly, but Leo's not really smiling. Instead, he sticks a paw back into his pocket and pulls out a slightly flat-looking cigarette. I give a start and stare. I shouldn't be surprised. I could smell it on him when I first got here. It's just that I'm not used to seeing him do it. He started right after I left. He pulls out a lighter, lights it, takes a drag, then blows the smoke out on the side of his muzzle, away from me. You're meant to swim, not walk on rocks. I mean, technically, Carl is built for that, and he's still falling down all the time. I think that's because Flynn is always tripping him with his tail. Speaking of Carl, grunting, I lean over sideways and look at the side of the boulder. I find what I'm looking for instantly, a series of chips and scratches outlining the rough figure of a canine with a long cape and an S on his chest. Huh, it's still here. Carl's drawing? Shit, I forgot about that. Never finished it, did he? Nah, but it's still pretty good. Remember how Super Wolf was the only thing he talked about all summer? Yeah, and the movie wasn't even that good. He loved it though. Yeah, and I guess that's all that really mattered. Leo grimaces and reaches over to my knee. I wince and look down as he puts his thumb and index around a cut that I hadn't noticed until now. Blood is oozing from the fur and leaking down my shin. We'll need to clean that out. I shrug. It's not that big of a deal. Nah, we'll stop at the convenience store and get some peroxide. There's some nasty shit around this lake. It's fine, seriously. Just to be safe. I smirk. Safe? Like this? I reach up and grab at the cigarette dangling from his lips. He's quick though, and whips his head away before taking it out of his muzzle. Hey! Don't hey me. Why the fuck are you smoking? His ears fall flat again, and he glares. Why the fuck do you care? He spits that out with so much venom that I lean away from him, eyes wide. He's never talked to me like that before, and I was joking too. What? Leo quickly looks away and doesn't say anything. I stare at his face for a while, watching his eyes flick around as he just shakes his head. Are you still mad at me? We talked. Of course I'm still mad, Chase. Talking doesn't fix it. Fix 3 years. All the progress I thought I'd made on Saturday was an illusion. Leo's just as upset as he's always been about what happened. I don't know what you want me to say. What do you want me to say, Leo? That I was wrong to leave? That I should have stayed here? Not leaving me in the dark would have been a good start. Yeah, I fucked that up, but it happened and I can't fix that. What do you want to happen now? Leo stretches his arms out to either side in a giant shrug. I don't know. This is already familiar. 1,000 past fights flashed through my mind. Did we ever agree on anything? I slide off the boulder, and Leo snaps his muzzle towards me, probably thinking I'm gonna leave. Instead, I lean one paw against the rock as I turn to glare at him. It feels better yelling at someone standing up rather than sitting down. Oh, I know exactly what you want. Oh, do you? You just want me to drop everything and come back here, back to Echo. When did I ever ask you to drop anything? I just want to know if you're coming back. How am I supposed to know that? Why can't you just plan ahead farther than a week? I swear it's always like this with you. I let out an exasperated laugh. I'm 21. I don't fucking know anything about anything. How should I know what I want? Well, I'm here. Don't you want to come back and live with me? We always plan for it. His voice softens and I pause, thinking about it right now. It is something I would want. It's just... Is Echo so bad that the negative outweighs my benefits? I gesture at the town in the distance, looking as shitty and rusted as ever. Then to the lake, looking as shitty and mucky as ever. Then to the desert around us, looking as shitty and dry as ever. I let the scenery speak for itself. So yeah. Leo rolled his eyes. Buchika Otter, I'm starting to think you just want an excuse to not be around me. I'm starting to think that's what Flynn said. What Flynn said was true. He looks straight at me, eyes narrowing over his muzzle, his nostrils flaring. What? I am not obsessed with you. I miss everyone, that's all. Is that wrong? I go quiet for a while and turn to look back over the lake, squinting at the bright, reflective flashes of light. It can be. But then, I don't even know if he's telling the truth. He'd never say whether or not the whole thing he'd been planning was just for me. He doesn't say anything, and we just sit there for a while. Even for a wolf, his whole fucking sticking together thing is a little intense. He'd brought us together at the very beginning, sure, but after Sydney, it was on a whole different level. He'd barely even let us leave his sight. That's when I noticed a dark figure across the lake, walking on the side of the road. It's Flynn, and he's heading back to Echo. I can see that Leo spotted him too, his ears and eyes following him, but he doesn't say anything. Finally, I speak up. So, is what he said about me true? No. He says it quietly, but the answer is instant. Really? Leo takes another drag of the cigarette. Weirdly enough, I actually kind of like the smell of smoke. I think his problem with you is that you don't act like you used to as a kid or as a teenager. He's told me before. I mean, you used to be all snarky. You used to be a snarky little motherfucker, even more than you are now. My stomach sinks. Yeah? Yeah, you grew up, mellowed out. Again, my insides twist and I don't trust myself to speak right now. Leo gets the wrong idea and smiles, putting his arm around me and pulling me up to his side. What he said about everyone was total bullshit, especially Jenna. His whole family mantra did have its limits. The fact that Leo is so defensive of Jenna's decision to leave her family shows what a piece of shit they really are. I'm just glad that he's changed the subject, though. Leaning my head on his shoulder, I let his hold comfort me. He's still watching Flynn. Chica, I can't fucking believe he did this now. Idiot! Idiot! Leo shouts it loud across the lake, And if I could, I'd lower my ears like a canine. I see the small figure that is Flynn turn around and look back at us. He stays like that for a while. It looks like he's examining us. Finally, he turns back around and keeps going towards Echo. Fucking idiot, how the hell am I gonna go ahead with what I planned this week? In the past, Flynn would have his blow-ups, then get it over with, and so would we. But this time really did feel different. It was like he'd been chipping away at our group for years, and finally this is what broke it into pieces. Now there's no putting things back together. Maybe it would have been better if you didn't come here. It's sort of my fault. Nope, it's Flynn's fault. Stupid to blame yourself. I don't know, he always had problems. Probably would have been better to just leave things as they were. No! Jesus, why does everyone act like this whole thing, Echo, our friendship, is just some kind of horrible tragedy? It hasn't exactly been a walk in the park. Life isn't a walk in the park. This is where we came from. Find some good in it instead of bitching about everything. It could be so much worse. My parents told me stories about their hometown, and compared to where I was born, this isn't shit. He huffs out smoke through his nose, not bothering to blow it away from me this time, and I'm engulfed in the smell of tobacco. I mean, not to be an asshole, but you gringos have it easy. My mom got a phone call almost every month telling her they'd kill my dad just because they had money. Leo's always been good at making me feel like a spoiled brat. I'm sorry. His arm tightens around me, and I turn my head to rub my nose in his chest. I can smell his musk under the heavy deodorant. It's a familiar smell I like. Don't be. I mean, we all play our cards, right? Oops. But try to have a little more perspective. He leans his chin on the top of my head. I feel like we should have had some boundaries since we're not exactly a couple anymore, but this feels right. I love this town and I love you guys. I just want things to work out, not to lose touch. We had something really special. You're such a wolf. Thanks. I lay upon his thigh and rub it slowly, thinking. I mean, is there really no other way you could leave with me? It could make things so much easier. Please don't ask that. I can't leave them. I could never do that, you know this. You know this. Of course I did. We'd argued about it over 100 times already. I squeezed his thigh. So, are you still mad at me? I listened to Leo's breath in deeply, my head rising with his chest. No, Otter, I'm not mad. We just have a lot of things to figure out, but we will. I guess that's a good place as any to leave off, so I move on to another subject. So, now that Flynn's fucked up the trip, what do we do next? He hasn't. We'll fix this. Just gotta get that dumbass to apologize. But once I do, we have a birthday to plan. I raise my brow in surprise. It wasn't anyone's birthday anytime soon. Huh. Whose birthday? Carl's. Carl? His birthday wasn't until the end of April, literally a month away. It's early. Really early, I know, but I'm kinda limited here on ideas of what we can do. I guess that makes sense. So when's that gonna be? Wednesday. We need to buy the stuff tomorrow, and I have the day off. Leo looks at his phone again. Speaking of which, I need to drive you guys back so I can get back to work. Well, alright. I'm not doing much else tomorrow. I should be working on the project, but I've got plenty of time. Leo slides off the boulder and turns back to me. I'll ask Jenna and TJ too. I'll let Flynn cool off for a day. Do you know where TJ went? Yeah, he just texted me that he wanted to be left alone, which I understand. I get off the boulder as well, and Leo reaches a paw out to me. And this time, watch where you're walking. Hold on to me. That's probably a good idea. Tuesday. Peyton Mall is tiny compared to the one in Pueblo, where I go to school. It's only got one floor and maybe 20 stores. Still, it wasn't a bad place to hang out back when I was in high school, mostly because it had a movie theater. So, where do you guys want to go first? First, we only need to go to one. You sure? I mean, maybe we should help him branch out. He knows what he likes. It's fine. Well, alright. Laters. Oh, lasers. That's like lasers? It is. that supposed to be like Spencer's or Hot Topics? It's one of those kinds of stores where it looks like a radioactive clown jizzed on everything. So it's like a Hot Topics. Ha! Well, there is a lot of weird porn here. Think Carl would like that? I'm not really sure what Carl's into when it comes to that. I think he likes the paws, honestly. Why don't I just box up my foot and put a bow on it then? Foreshadowing. Porn? Really? Let's just stick to the comic books. We both look at him. Everything okay, Tej? TJ's been in a bit of a mood ever since he woke up this morning. He didn't talk the whole drive here, instead just browsing through stuff on his phone. He's just salty that he isn't roasting on the trail right now. No, this is fine, guys. I'm fine, guys. TJ smiles to show us how fine he is. Yeah, sure. Well, Leo's driving us up halfway after this, so you're still going to get yourself barbecue. You don't have to go if you don't want. I don't know if it would be very fun if you were upset the whole time. At this point, Leo turns to me, smiling. You going with them? In this fur? On these legs? I lift a foot for him. No, it's over 90 degrees today. Yeah, best leave it to the land mammals. So... Leo claps his paws together loudly. Let's split up and pick something out. I think it'll be fine if we keep it under 20 bucks. As everyone wanders off, I look around. I'm not sure what I should get him. He doesn't get excited about much unless it's one of his comic books is being turned into a movie. Oh. If it was Omar, it would be action figures, but also comics. Let's pick comics. I think I picked action figures last time. Jenna's already looking at the comic book section, so I decide to try my luck there. Find anything? Not yet. I'm debating whether or not to get him a manga. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him reading one of those. Yeah, he thinks anything that isn't from the West is inferior to his precious comics. I look over this selection, most of which happens to be manga. The eyes are kind of weird looking. Not all of them, besides it's the stories I like. It's not all superheroes and powers, you know? I guess, though I think every anime I've seen deals with some kind of demon trapped in some kid. That's more foreshadowing. Hey, that's the pop shonen crap. You have to look for the good stuff. Just criticize your own visual novel. Well, I guess that's true with everything, right? As I'm glancing over the covers, I'm noticing a pattern of schoolgirls with big boobs. It is kind of weird that Jenna would be into this stuff. Anyway, I'm sure if you get him something good, it will expand his horizons on comics. If you can really call that expanding. I move back over towards the comics and look around, but I can't make out what any of it means. Carl's so damn knowledgeable about comic books, I'm sure he already has everything he wants. I wander off towards the opposite wall, where all the posters are. Leo's standing there, looking over the display board. I stand next to him. You know, I think every inch of his wall is covered. I don't know if there's any more room. Has he put anything up on the ceiling? I don't think so. Then there's room. Well, alright, I guess I'll get him Luce. I don't think he's got that one. Oh, he's got one of him. I look over at the masked wolf, his arms crossed, bare chest and abs stuck out in full display. I waggle my brows. Sure, that's why you want him. Leo grins down at me. Oh yeah, sorry, but he's not my type. I like my guys a bit more supple. His tail slaps my ass. Well, I like him. I love muscles. Leo squares his shoulders and flexes, his biceps bulge to nearly the size of my head. Grr, like these? I feign indifference, shrugging. Meh, I'm more into the cut look, like Luce. Leo frowns, but I take that moment to slap him in the butt with my tail. Because it's not as flexible as his, I have to turn my body into it, and it practically thuds into his ass. Leo yelps and stumbles forward into the posters with a loud clatter. Whoa, calm down, boys. Jenna walks up behind us and stands next to me, her arms folded over a manga with the Joe in a schoolgirl uniform on the front. I look sexy, Jenna. Good pick. Jenna rolls her eyes as Leo reaches into the poster bin with Lucha in it. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't have this one. TJ follows up behind Jenna, a small figure of Trinity Weasel in his paws. I laugh. And of course you'd get that, TJ. Hey, it was a good price and He's kidding, TJ. Anyway, maybe it'll help him take another look at the movie. It's really good. God, I hate TJ. I realize that I'm the only one that hasn't picked out a gift, and I look around anxiously. Right in front of me is a rack of beanie caps. One of them has a bloodied and decaying zombie face print on it, its teeth bared on the brim. I assume it's to make the wearer look like the head is clamped inside. I think Carl likes zombies. I snatch it off the rack and hurry up to the front with the others. How does it look? I ask TJ as we're walking through the parking lot. It looks good, I guess. No, I mean, does it look like a zombie badger is eating my head? Oh, yeah, looks great. He gives me a thumbs up. I pull it down on my face slowly. How do you think we'd all look? How do you think we'd all do in zombie attacks? I lift my head back up. Oh, the hat's back over my forehead. Like, who would die first? My eyes fall involuntarily on TJ. Me? Why do you think that? Well, maybe not. You are pretty fast. I just kind of imagine you curling up in a ball. But honestly, I'd be the first to go. I stick out a leg. Look at how stubby these are. Psst. I'm the fastest and I'd carry you. You wouldn't have to worry. Oh, really? I look over at Jenna and see that she's got that gleam in her eyes that always puts me on edge. Pretty sure I'm faster than you, Leo. Leo smirks. Pretty sure my legs are way longer and way faster than yours, Jenna. Jenna sticks out her bags with her manga in it to me. I take it slowly, trying to catch her eyes, so I can shake my head frantically at her. Leo sticks his bag out to TJ, almost punching him in the nose. TJ jumps and gingerly takes it from him, frowning. This is the parking lot, guys. Are you sure it's a good idea? But Jenna and Leo have already taken up their positions side by side, leaning forward. All right, to the lamppost. You're on. Count us off, Chase. How is this proving anything? Don't you need to be caring, Chase? All right, ready, set, go. Leo actually gets a bit of a head start since he's anticipated the go, but Jenna catches up right away. In fact, she's 10 feet ahead of him in just 5 seconds into the race. I can hear her laughing as she gracefully speeds ahead, her tail whipping around like a flag as she zips off towards the horizon. Leo, realizing he's going to lose, is frantically flailing his arms around, his ears head down as he charges forward. I'm actually surprised by how bad he's losing. I mean, he used to play football back in high school, so he's had some training. With his head down, I guess he doesn't see the curb right in front of him, and his foot clips it as he passes. I hear the yelp, and then see him careen off to the side, then roll on the asphalt before slamming up against the tire of a parked car. TJ gasps, and covers his eyes. Oh my gosh! I'm already running up to where Leo's fallen. He's sitting up against the tire, one paw on his head as he grits his teeth in pain. Are you alright? Jesus, you hit that hard. I kneel down next to him, and the second he sees me, he grins and quickly scrambles up, brushing his paws. I'm fine. I just tripped. I can see the spot on his paw pads that are skidded and bleeding, and I wince. Jesus Christ, Leo, that wasn't just a bit. Jenna, having noticed that her competition had eaten shit, jogs back to us, her paws on her hips as she breathes heavily. Whoa, are you okay, Leo? I'm fine. Want to try that again? The stupid curb got in the way. Nope. You're all banged up as it is. You're fucking bleeding everywhere. I should probably drive. I'm fine, Chase. Leo rolls his eyes to show me just how much he doesn't care, but I can see that the insides of his ears are bright red. There's a bit of an awkward silence, only punctuated by Leo and Jenna's breathing. Finally, Jenna walks up next to me and puts her paws around my shoulder. Well, now you know who'd be more likely to survive within a zombie apocalypse, Chase. Remember it. Who you'd be more likely to survive with a zombie apocalypse. My god. She leans her head against my shoulder, and I cringe as I see Leo's smile turn icy. All right, cool. Let's get going. I wiggle out from under her arm. You guys need to get to your hike. The drive back is only a little awkward. To her credit, Jenna does try to apologize to Leo, but he just waves it off like it isn't a big deal. I can tell by how he's overdoing the cheerfulness that's not the case. We drop TJ and Jenna off halfway up the trail, which happens to be right next to the highway. Once we're alone in the car, Leo starts messing around with the CD player. You might remember this. As the music fills the car, I'm immediately transported back to my high school days. Jesus, is this carpet stains? Yep. Leo's grinning at me, occasionally glancing back towards the road. This was a band we listened to together in my junior and senior year. You still into the stuff? Okay, no offense to whoever made this song. Sure, it's got that nostalgic factor, but it really is embarrassing to listen to now. I used to think it was so deep and emotional. Now the guy's whiny voice just annoys me. It's pretty terrible. I know, right? Can't believe we listened to it so much. Still, it takes me back. I listen to the lyrics, mouthing them under my breath. You haunt everything in my life. I see you in the clouds and the sky so blue. I see your outline in my screen door, too. Finally, we pulled up to Leo's old ranch-style house, which looks like a shed. It looks the same as it always has, though the landscaping has definitely taken a turn for the worse. Leo parks, and we both get out. I'm busy staring out the driveway, thinking about all the times I've walked across it, when a gravelly voice pulls me from my reverie. Hey, who are you? I jump and look to the right, spotting a thin and angry-looking raccoon. He's standing next to some bushes, trimming them up. His yard is a desert landscape and looks pretty good next to Leo's property, which is nothing but weeds and sagebrush. Behind the raccoon is an old and rusty-looking trailer home. Thinking back, I'm pretty sure that a really old mouse used to live there, but this guy's a raccoon, and he looks pretty young too. I hear Leo walking quickly around the front of his truck to stand next to me. Hey, Cud, this is Chase. Remember I was telling you about him? Leo puts his arm around me. Cud's demeanor changes immediately when he sees Leo. Oh, hey, Leo. This is him, Cud? My voice is just incredulous enough to be offensive, and the raccoon notices. His already scowling face gets even more scrunched up. I'm not exactly from around here. Oh, really? No. We stand there for a few seconds, then Leo grabs my arm. Alright, glad you two could meet. We're actually in a bit of a hurry. Got a party to plan for. The raccoon watches us all the way to the door before Leo finally closes it behind him. Really, Chase? What? It's a weird name. I sniff, but instead of the scented candles, I smell... No, the scented candle smell I thought I'd get instead met by an acrid smell of cigarette smoke. It doesn't look the same either. It's a little bit empty compared to when I was last here. It makes sense, I guess, with Leo's parents and siblings gone. I tell him what a great guy you are for the past 2 years, and that's his first impression of you. Well, I'm sorry, what happened to that old mouse guy? Charlie, he died a few months after you left. Cud moved in a few years ago. Oh, well, he seems a little grumpy. He is, but he's a good guy. Been through a lot. Leo sets the bags down on the kitchen table, pulling out a cake and gifts. So, why'd he move here? Said he likes the isolation. He works in painting. Something's happened in the city and he wanted to get away. Leo ruffles through the plastic cups and gifts. I forgot what country he's originally from. His full name is Kutsu. How old's TJ again? I think he's 20, but he doesn't drink anyway, if that's what you're wondering. I don't know, people changed a lot in the few years. Anyway, let's go to my room. Gotta message Carl. Leo's room is small but cozy, a little cluttered, but clean enough. I walk over to sit on the bed, looking around at all the posters, most of them related to football or hip-hop moguls. He's had most of these since high school. Kept the same room, huh? Your parents' room is bigger, isn't it? Yeah, well, I'm used to it being here. I'm used to it being here. Would be kind of weird hanging out in my parents' room anyway. Besides, he plops down next to me, bouncing me up and down on the bed. I don't really need the space. So, what do you do around here? It feels kind of empty. I'm really only here to sleep, otherwise, I'm at the computer. You know, porn. He looks at me and grins. I look over at his computer. It's got a nice chair, and I guess what the box of tissues next to the monitor is for. My god. But that's not what holds my attention. Instead, I see 3 holes punched right through the drywall. Around these are several more, less successful dents in the wall, some with knuckle-shaped features. Holy shit. Leo's ears fall flat, and he lets out an embarrassed laugh. Ish, yeah, that's my fault. I really get into my games. I stand up and walk towards the wall, examining the damage. Leo stands up too, clearly uncomfortable. That was a few years ago, though. I don't play that game anymore. Damn, Leo, you're fucking crazy. Oh, I poke a finger through one of the holes, realizing that punching through the wall with one try wasn't anything to squeeze at. And strong. So you still got that temper of yours. I don't. I was just that one game. He's got his paws on his hips, glaring down at me. I mean, what if I was standing here? What would you have done to my face? I put my face in front of one of the holes for effect. Leo blanches like I had just slapped him. Hey, don't talk like that. I would never. I know. Sorry, it's just funny how angry you get sometimes. No, it's not. I mean, your phone looks pretty new. When's the last time you broke one? Well, okay, the damn thing wasn't loading right in. He frowns. Why am I being interrogated right now? Hey, you want me to live here? I think I have a right to be concerned about my personal property. I only broke your phone once. Technically, it was deserved. I spread my paws out. More than I've broken anyone else's phone. Yeah, well, I never pretended that I cheated on someone as a joke. My attitude cools a little. Yeah, well, high school, you know. I know. Anyway, it's nice to have you here again. He reaches out and pulls me into a one-armed hug. When I pull back, though, I notice a cut on the side of his arm. A few more on the back of his paw as well. At this point, the fur is clumped together with coagulated blood. Man, you've really wiped out. Hmm? He looks at his arm. Oh yeah, I should clean up. Hey, get on the comp while I'm gone and see if Carl's online. Leo talks to me as he's walking out the door into the hallway. I should be logged on. Ask him what he's doing tomorrow. We need to plan this out right. Okay? I sit down on the chair and wake the computer up. Sure enough, Leo's already logged into his account. I look at his friends list, seeing that Carl is idle. I send him the message anyway, then lean back in the chair, almost freaking out as it leans back way farther than I thought it would. Must be all those jerk-off sessions Leo's had. I drum up the paw against the desk for a bit, then look back towards the door. Leo's probably going to be a while, and I am curious. I grin as I first check out his bookmarks. Social media litters the first few slots, then there's one called Mech Forums, and another called Mechanics United. Then, of course, there are a few sports and football-specific sites. Finally, I get to the one called Gay Viddies and another called Otter Sluts. I snort loudly at that one. I click on the History tab next. I scroll through it for a while, the first 50 or so related to some DJ or hip-hop artist. Finally, I see the word cock, and know that I'm looking at one of Leo's porn sessions. It's probably standard stuff, ass, balls, making out, blowjobs, but that's when I start seeing a pattern. Gay otters. Otter asses male. Male otter's tail up. Gay blowjob. Otters. I raise my brows and click on the search bar for the history, typing in otter before hitting enter. The results spill down the window, the scroll bar small enough that I have trouble clicking on it to pull it down. Was Leo only into me because he had an otter fetish? I start to feel a little depressed as I scroll through the results, and that's when I notice another pattern. At least half of the results have wolf in the search phrase, and not just that. Wolf, otter, gay. Wolf, otter, gay blowjob. Otter, wolf, gay couple kiss. Otter, wolf, gay cuddling. The nape of my neck prickles as I scroll down the hundreds of results, but that's when I hear the door open in the hallway. I jump, first covering the screen with my paws like an idiot, then quickly exiting out the window. Except that doesn't work. The sheer amount of results I get from Leo's shame must have fucked up the CPU somehow. Desperately, I bang the mouse against the desk as I hear Leo's heavy footsteps down the hallway. I swear there's a cut on my back, but I can't reach it. Fuck. I mutter under my breath, heart pounding in my chest. It's just like 5 years ago when Mom caught me looking at gay porn. Leo walks in, the computer screen still hopelessly frozen. Can you help me get it? Leo stops mid-sentence as I look back at him, the guilt on my face pretty damn obvious. What did you do? You know what? I try to stall and look back at the screen, clicking furiously on the X. Hey. And just as he's walking up behind me, the window disappears. Wait a second, what were you looking at? I swivel around in the chair, grinning. Nothing! My voice squeaks. Leo stares down at me, an exasperated smirk spreading across his muzzle. No, not nothing. What the hell were you looking at? Is there something I don't know about? He keeps on staring at me, but I get up and pretend to stretch, moving towards the bed. Well, yeah, there's something you don't know about. But now I know some things. I swish my tail behind me a few times, teasing him, but mostly I'm just relieved I didn't get caught. I hear him move, but before I can react, he's on me. He grabs my arms, shoving them up behind my back, then shoves me forward, falling on top of me on the bed. I grunt loudly as his weight pushes the air out of my lungs. Looks like I'm gonna have to get it out of you the old-fashioned way, otter. I struggle a little, but there's no way in hell I'm getting out from under Leo if he wants me to stay there. Hey, get off! He clutches both of my wrists in one paw while he digs the other into my side. I gasp and writhe desperately, bouncing up and down on the bed while he pinches at my ribs. No, please! I don't know anything! Sure. Now what were you looking at? He leans in harder on me and I feel his hot breath on my ear, nuzzling at it, only making me laugh and squirm louder. Well, I'm sure Leo is curious about what I was doing on his computer. I'm definitely sure there's another reason why he's doing this. I can feel it against my ass as he rolls around on top of me. Before I can really think about it, he lets go of my paws, and the tickling stops. I only have a second of reprieve before both of his paws dig up into my armpits. Practically squealing, I writhe around, managing to get up on my back now that he isn't laying on top of me. That doesn't help much as he goes right back to my armpits. I can't take it anymore. All right. It's just your search contacts to see if you were hooking up with anyone. The tickling stops, and I'm left gasping for air while Leo looks down at me, grinning. Oh, a little jealous, huh? Maybe a little. Leo looks genuinely happy about that, his paws spread out to either side of my head as he grins down at me. You should have just told him you were looking through his search history and that you saw that he was obsessed with you. Obsessed. I take my chances and shoot my paws up his sides, digging in. He yelps and curls up and falls back on top of me again. I don't relent though and keep wiggling my fingers around his body. Obviously he's letting me win, but it's still fun seeing him melt into a twitching pile of giggles. He rolls to the side of me and I get up on top of him, pretending to wrestle him down like I've done hundreds of times before. He playfully fights back, but he's grinning up at me with a dopey tongue out of the muzzle expression. On a whim, I plant my knee on his crotch. I'm not sure why, probably to let him know that I knew, or maybe it was just a way to get back at him for getting off on this. He yelps again, this time a lot more loudly, and folds up, pushing me off the side of him. Fuck! We both lay there, side by side, panting and sweating a little, my head resting on his arm. I think I won that. No way, I got you to squeal. And you cheated when you crushed my dick. Leo reaches over to me on a small, complicated looking fan on his bedside table before flopping his other arm over his eyes. As I stare at the fan, I notice something else next to it and gasp loudly. What? Is that a fucking gun? Oh yeah. It's real? Yeah, of course. I turn my head to stare at him. Why? Why would you just leave it out here in the open? I never thought of Leo as a gun person. From what he told me, he hated guns. Well, my dad has a bunch, and when he left, he gave me one for protection. Wow, do you really need it? A few people in this town, well, you know. I think I know the people he's talking about. Have you had to use it or something? I mean, it's just sitting out. Leo shifts, bouncing the bed. Let's just say some people need convincing when they're trying to cause trouble. I'm about to ask more, but Leo holds up his other paw. Not now, I'm tired. I'll tell you about it later. I go quiet, but it's hard not to stare at the gun. The concept of owning one is just so foreign to me. So, what's with that fan? I change the subject. Leo looks confused, then over at the fan. Oh, it's a humidifier fan combo. I get nosebleeds a lot. Ah. I close my eyes and lay there against Leo. This is probably a bad idea, I know. But it feels good and I'm tired, even after the discovery I made on his computer. That's like a major red flag, dude. I guess I'm just trying not to think about that right now. The fan drones softly. Leo's arms move under my neck, and I feel his paw come up and start brushing at the tuft of fur on my head with his thumb and index finger. I wish it would style this again. When I had it spiked. That was stupid. I liked it. I feel myself dozing off as his fingers start brushing up my forehead. I feel the coolness of his anchor bracelet through my fur. Sometimes, I think I'm going crazy. I'm barely awake at this point, the fan blowing on my face. Leo stroking, feeling his warm body next to mine. I saw you here last week. I saw my window. That registers as a little weird, so I come back out of my doze a little. Oh? Yeah, I just looked out and saw an otter just standing there. Huh. You think it was another otter? Well, Leo yawns and turns his head towards me, shuffling at my ear, snuffling. There's only one other guy. Remember Dale? He's fat though. Could have been just someone that was lost, right? Maybe. I went out and didn't see anyone. Well, sometimes people see things. His arms tighten around my head as he gives it a soft hug, a sort of hug. Hope, I'm not seeing things now. I roll my eyes, but his words remind me of something. Just like a bad dream. I'll be gone when you wake. But I swear, even if it was fake, I'll never forget your face. I sing a few of the lyrics from one of the old emo songs, but that's when I hear Leo snore, so I give into my pleasant drowse and sink slowly into sleep. I feel a presence in the room, and it's angry. Chase! I jolt awake, but I can't open my eyes. Ace! Finally, my eyes twitch open, but I can't move. I can only wiggle the tips of my fingers. Just try to hide. I dare you. I flinch. The voice is right in my ear. I'm still in Leo's room, still in his bed, and I can vaguely make out his body out at the corner of my eyes. The room, though, it's tinted red. I hear clicking and see the monitor switch on. I see myself, bent over, tail raised, naked, looking back at the camera, my face warped. Dark holes bloom over the eyes, then all over the image like it's burning. A tarantula crawls up over the foot of the bed and starts making its way towards me. I gasp through my nose since I can't open my mouth. My heart beating so fast I think it's shaking the bed. My fingers wiggle as I try to yank myself awake, the massive spider only moving closer as it crawls over my foot and onto my leg. The weight of the spider is real. The way it's disheveling my shirt as it crawls up onto my stomach is real. This is real. No, it's not real. I've had this happen before. Started happening when I took the night shift at the grocery store next to campus. Very common. Very normal. People have it happen all the time. I'll just close my eyes and wait it out. I do that, squeezing them shut as tight as I can, trying to find comfort in Leo's presence next to me, his arm still under my head. I feel the spider on my chest, its weight so much more than it should be, but it stops there, doesn't approach my face. But then, I feel something else, another presence. It's coming from the right side of the wall where the window is. Something's looking through it at me. I know it. I'm not opening my eyes though. I know if I do, I'll see something that will freak me the fuck out, and the spider's bad enough. I hear tapping, whatever it is that's tapping at the glass, wanting my attention. It knows I know it's there, and it wants me to see it. What the fuck? This is lasting way longer than it should. What if I'm stuck? Am I stuck? Am I gonna be stuck in a twisted Leo's spider room dimension for the rest of my fucking life? He's mine! My eyes fly open, already pointed towards the window, bracing myself. But it's empty. The sky's tinted red from the sunset, and so is the room, my dreaming brain exaggerating it to look like the color of blood. The spider's gone, and the angry presence is, too. I sit up slowly and rub my face, feeling exhausted even though I just slept. With the humidifier blowing right in my face, I can feel the tiny droplets of water that have collected on my waterproof fur. It'd be impossible to fall asleep again after that, not only because of how brutal that sleep paralysis was, but because I still don't feel right. While the spider and thing in the room were gone, the only thing outside the window... While the spider and thing in my room were gone, the other thing outside the window, I feel like it's still there. I look out the window again and see nothing, but still, I can't shake the feeling that I'm still being watched. And that's where we're going to cut it for today. It's obvious, there's a lot of red flags going on about, Leo. But there's also a reason he's the way he is. But I can't really say that because it's kind of, a secret for the moment. But yeah. Leo and Chase's relationship is very complicated. And a lot of that has to do in part with things that Chase did and things that Leo has done. But you guys will eventually get to see that as his route progresses. But yes, thank you for listening, and hopefully we'll continue this tomorrow or the day after, because tomorrow I have another dentist appointment, and the day after I have to go get new glasses. Anyways, thank you, and bye-bye.